Good morning! I am going to talk about long distance relationships today on this video, or LDR, I guess is what the cool people call it. I recently have found myself in an amazing long distance relationship that I was not expecting, so I thought it would be a great topic to talk about today because I think a lot of you can relate, or you have had experiences yourself and you can help me out because I'm really new to this. Hello, I'm Ash. Welcome to my channel. My life has taken some unexpected turns in 2020, leaving me picking up the pieces and pressing restart. I don't know what every day will hold, but I do know I'm just gonna wing it. Thank you so much to the patrons of my channel. You help make Winging It with Ash possible. I am very new to this long distance relationship. I have been learning so much through the process. I think that right now with the world situation, likelihood of people being in long distance relationships, even if somebody lives a few hours away, is probably pretty high because people are locked in, people can't leave and go places. And so relationships need to be over the phone or over the internet to be able to actually keep relationships going. And so, yeah, this is where I find myself. I was against being in a long distance relationship. Like, I literally said when I started dating, I will not be in a long distance relationship. It's too hard. It's so hard not to be able to be with that person. At this point, I feel like if I completely close myself off to that, then I would be completely closing myself off to relationships in general, because how else can you have a relationship in person right now in the current situation unless that person lived in my hometown? It also takes, I think, a specific person, a special person to be able to talk me into it. And I think that I found that person. I know that I found that person. I'm so excited about what's to come, and I did not expect it at all. I did a video, and I'll link it above, of me starting to date and my dating situations that didn't go so well. And I think that so many of you in the comments said,
it'll come when you're least expecting it. You'll find that person, when you're not looking for it.
And I was so annoyed at those answers because I was like,
but I want to find a person. I want to share my life with someone.
Yeah, it's like probably the worst thing that you can tell someone when they want to share life with someone else. And so to stop looking is really hard, but I did. I was focusing on my work, my job, and this person came when I least expected it, and it's been amazing. I asked on Instagram this week if many of you have been in long distance relationships, if you have any misconceptions about long distance relationships, if you have any advice. Did I say that already? I'm not sure. I got a ton of messages back. It seems like this is something that almost everybody can relate to. This is a conversation. So with these questions, I would love for you guys to answer down below your answers, your reflection of where you've been or what your thoughts are. It's just crazy to me, like, how against being in a long distance relationship I was, which actually through a long distance relationship made me a lot more maybe uneasy, or I questioned it a lot. I was a lot more protective of myself in that situation, not only because of my past experiences, but because it is really hard to know that if somebody is being completely genuine and honest when you can't meet them, when you can't be with them in person. All those things, like emotions and questions, I went through. I feel like time was able to tell whether or not that person, my person, was truly interested in me. So the best place to start, I think, is to start with the questions that you guys have sent me on Instagram, and we'll just go through them. These are all my own opinion and from my very little experience of having a long distance relationship, but I know there are so many of you who have been, I don't know how you've done it, but long distance relationships for 2 years, 5 years, someone said 10 years long distance relationship. I don't know how you did it. I feel like a weak person because it's been quite a few months, and I am tired. Like, I want to be with my person. I want to be in person with my person. So the questions, first question is, are you worried about being catfished? It's easy to hide things via long distance. This I was so worried about at first. And one of the reasons why I was completely against it to begin with was that even people that I knew, even a person that I knew was able to lie to me and completely deceive me. And so knowing that someone lives so far away and I have no way of verifying what they're saying is true was really scary for me, and something that I knew that, like, I guarded my heart, and I knew that it would take time for me to completely trust someone. And by communicating, asking questions, and not holding back, I feel like I'm a good communicator. And so I need to find someone else who is a good communicator. And if you're able to find that, then through time and through their actions, you're able to tell whether or not they're in it for the long term. And so, yeah, I think that the first month I was definitely on guard. I was definitely I was holding out to see if what he said was true, and if he was going to follow through with what he said. And he did every time he did, and he has continued to do that. And I think that through that, like, time is such a huge thing, because so many times with, I don't know, man. Yeah, some people have had experiences where they've been with people, they've had long distance relationships for like a year and they still haven't like met. And I don't know how healthy that is. I'm dying to meet this person in real life. And we haven't met in real life at all. So, but I do completely trust everything that he says. And I have no question that what he says to me is true and honest and genuine. Some people might think I'm crazy for that because we've never met in person, but I don't know. I love hard, and I have no problem with completely trusting everything that he says. Now, at this point, it has taken me time to get here to this point, and I think that it's good for you to know that it does take time, and it takes that person doing the things that they say, following through, making effort, and same goes with you. I think that if he was full in with me from the very, very beginning, and I didn't follow through with things, and I wasn't honest and genuine, and continued to be that way from the very start, then then I would expect him to have questions about me. So I don't know. That's a long answer for long-winded. But yes, I was afraid of being catfished. Yes, I asked him if he was an Indian Australian who had 5 children and a wife. But it turns out he's not, and he's exactly who he's said that he is. I completely trust that. The next question is, how do you prevent feeling lonely while you're far from your partner? Keeping busy. I work a job, so I'm at work all throughout the day, and then in the evenings I'm usually really busy. I have things that I need to get done. There's just a lot of things that I keep busy doing, and so I think that helps a lot, is because I'm also living my life here and preparing for whatever is in the future. But there are times where I do feel lonely, and there are times that I wish we didn't live in different time zones. I think that living in different time zones really is a crappy thing. Someone said,
It's saying goodbye to your sleep.
and I think for him more than me, that's the truth, is that we've missed a lot of sleep. Mostly he's missed a lot of sleep. He said he hasn't slept since we met, really. Is it easy to connect on the phone as it is in person? And I think that from my experience, someone can be really clever texting but not super clever on the phone. But I think that you should not have a long distance relationship where you are only texting. Doing video calls, doing voice chats, like, very quickly we moved from texting to voice chats, I don't know what they're called, but voice chats, I don't know, but so I could hear his voice, his inflection, so there wasn't any miscommunications over, like, not completely understanding things, especially if you're having a long distance relationship over different cultural things, because you can't tell necessarily through a text all the time what someone's meaning by something, so there can be misconceptions. And so it is way better to do voice chats, and then from voice chats we went to live video chats, and so we always video chat. I know what he looks like, I know some of his like mannerisms, like how he says things, what he does, and I love that. And I think that that's definitely a natural progression and something that needs to happen for you to actually truly get to know someone, is have those video chats. And the next step would be meeting in person, which I'm so excited about. This is a good one. Are you concerned about idealizing them as a more perfect person in your head? Yes. From the very beginning, I was afraid of that, because yes, I want to be in love. Yes, I want to be loved. And yes, he seems absolutely perfect for me. So do I question that? I have in the past, like I have. But I think that over time, the more comfortable you get with a person, the more you realize that, yeah, there are things that may or may not be ideal. I don't know. I might be idealizing, because I think that he's amazing and perfect, and I know I'm realistic about it. I know there are things that we're going to have to work on, and I know that being in person it'll be more prevalent, more in our face as to things that we may or may not agree on. But I'm a very adaptable person, and I think so is he. He is as well. So yeah, I think that, yeah, we're gonna have to adapt. Yeah, we're going to have things that we do differently. But I think that's a fun part of a relationship, and working through those things. When you have been in long-term relationships, do you feel like you idealize the person? Do you feel like when you met in person that there were things that you didn't recognize through video chats, through voice chats, that were make or breaks? At this point, I don't feel like there would be anything like that. Yeah, I have no concerns about that whatsoever, like zero concerns. Am I being idealistic and ridiculous thinking that? I don't know, maybe. I'm an idealistic person, so that's how I live my life. And so I don't know, maybe not. I think he's lovely, and yeah, maybe. Are you worried someone will have to sacrifice something eventually for you to be together? No, I'm not worried about it. I've completely accepted that sacrifices will need to be made for us to be together. I know that we live in completely separate places, and so one of us is going to have to go to where the other person lives and is comfortable, and that person who's leaving and sacrificing, leaving their family or a comfortable job or a beautiful apartment, that is a sacrifice that when you love someone you're willing to have. And that's not necessarily a part of only long distance relationships. I think that's a part of relationships in general. It's a choice, and I'm more than willing to make that choice, and I know that he is willing to make sacrifices for me as well. And so it's a mutual thing that when you love someone, you're willing to make those sacrifices, and that's how you show love, is learning how to make it work to be together. It's beautiful. It's awesome. And I think sacrifice is one of the most beautiful ways that you can show your love to a person. One of you said that long distance relationships is very hard, but it's worth the intimacy that you get in return. I completely agree with this. I think that it's amazing being able to communicate, being able to learn about each other, being able to have video chats, and get to know each other and build a level of intimacy without having the physical level of intimacy. I have no doubt in my mind that our physical level of intimacy will be just fine because of our emotional level of intimacy. It feels like, he always says it feels like we've done it a very old-fashioned way, and I agree with that. I love that we've literally talked about everything under the moon, and now we're at a very comfortable place where it's just about our days because we feel like we know each other so well. And yeah, it's awesome. It's so nice to have that level of intimacy in an emotional way before adding in the physical element. Merging the virtual relationship to a real one after you physically meet can be weird. Is it? I'm curious, and that's something that I wonder, because I feel like with our relationship, and they, is it because we haven't met and I have never had this experience before, is that a misconception? Is that something where I'm idealizing it? What has been your experience when you have had a long distance relationship over internet or virtually, and then you meet in person? Is it weird? Is it uncomfortable? I literally have no anxiety about meeting him in person. I just feel like it will click. But is that a misconception? I'm so curious. Like, I feel like I'll for sure be freaking nervous. So nervous. But I just feel like it's weird because we've spent a lot of time virtually, but I feel like we've met in person. Like, we have been together in a lot of situations. It's such a weird thing, and I feel like only those of you who have been in LDRs can understand. But let me know in the comments below your experience with meeting in person, and did you idealize it beforehand? I don't want to like build it up in my head and then when we meet in person it be not what I expect, so then I'm disappointed. I want to go into it with no expectations, but with the excitement and understanding that this is the person that I've fallen for, and yeah, by having them in person, it's just gonna be amazing. It's gonna be so awesome, and I cannot wait. I don't think it's gonna be awkward. It might be a little bit. Like, you just don't know. I don't know. I'm excited about it, and maybe it is gonna be awkward, but there'll be really good fun stories to tell. I don't know. I'm excited for it, but I want to know what you guys have to say. Next question is, do you feel like you can completely know someone by not being around them? And no, I think that part of completely knowing someone is by being around them. There are small things that I want to know and see, like how he puts his shoes on, or yeah, if he puts his shoes away when he walks in the door, or does he leave them by the front door? Or it's so funny that cleaning things always just stand in my mind. Does he take his bowl of cereal and put it in the sink and leave it there? Or does he put it in the dishwasher? Or does he hand wash it and let it dry? Or does he eat with a fork and knife? Like, those kind of things aren't things that you can get over video. And so no, I don't think that you completely, fully know someone. I think in an emotional aspect, yes, but in the physical aspect, without having that physical contact, then no, you can't fully know someone without that. And I understand that, and I think that that's why I have such a urgency to meet him in person, because I want to fully know him by being physically together, like being in the same place and seeing those small things, those small quirks. And yeah, I don't know what his hair feels like, or his hands in my hands, like holding hands. Like, those things seem like small things, but to me they're huge things. They're big things that are part of fully knowing him. And yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that you can fully know someone without physically being in the same place? And lastly, because I feel like this video could go on and on and on, but we can do a part 2 if you're interested, so let me know down below if you want a part 2 of this, and we can do some more questions, because I definitely have a lot of questions. But what my favorite parts are of a long distance relationship, definitely the communication side of things, the intimacy side of things. I love that we've done it an old-fashioned kind of way, kind of letters and voice and video. It's been so amazing to get to know him in the way that I have. You know what's also amazing is that our relationship from the very beginning has been documented. And that's not something that you get when you're meeting someone in person. You don't get the documentation through necessarily texts or video chats or voice chats. And I love that from the very beginning, I can hear our voice chats, and you can see how they've morphed into being more intimate, more love behind the messages, more care behind the messages, and how it's so fun just to look back on those things. And I think that that's such a unique part of a long distance relationship, because you can document all of those things from the very beginning. And the way that you look at that person from the beginning to the way that I look at him now, it's so different. I was guarded definitely at the beginning. Now I am all in. It's amazing. It's so cool. And I absolutely just love that aspect of the long-term relationship. The hard part is not being together. There's so many times where I need a hug or encouragement, or I'm tired of cooking by myself and I cook too big of a meal and I have to eat it for lunch every day of the week. It would be so awesome to be able to share those things with someone and only have that leftovers for half the week. There are things that are really hard about it, and I've never met him in person, so probably one of the hardest things are those questions that pop up where you wonder, like, what if it doesn't work when we meet in person? What if we aren't compatible? I am human and those things do creep in, but for the most part, I don't let them take over how I'm feeling in this moment, which it's amazing. And I'm happy to be in the place that we are right now. And I'm so thankful that he found me. And he's pursuing me. I know that I can't be the only one who has gone through this, who has experienced an amazing relationship, even if it is miles and miles and miles away. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want another one, just let me know. This is a journey. My journey has been wild and crazy and not something that I expected at all. So many things in my life have happened unexpectedly, which makes me feel like I'm on the Truman Show. So if I am, I'm actually recording myself, which is so weird. If I was on the Truman Show, I'd be just playing into it and I wouldn't even know. It's so ridiculous, but all the best. I hope you're all safe. I send you all my best wishes. Signing off. Oh, that's not what I normally say, but all the best. Guys, go out and wing it. I'm literally winging it. There's nothing, I have no control over what's happening right now in my life, but it's absolutely amazing and I wouldn't change it for the world. All the best. Bye.